two people accidentally shot on a movie set by a prop gun. We need help immediately.
This is the set. The director, Joel Souza, was injured. The director of photography, Halyna Hutchins, was killed. Hutchins posted this video the day before she died, horse riding on a day off. One of the perks of shooting a Western, she wrote. Born in Ukraine, Hutchins started out as a journalist, then moved to the US to study and work in the movies. Named a rising star in 2019 by American Cinematographer magazine. She was 42.
It was good, everybody. I wanted to make this video real quick. Unfortunately, about everything that happened with Alec Baldwin. You know, I mean, I work in that industry. Like, that's my bread and butter, the whole acting world. So that's why I felt like, okay, I seen a few people make videos about it, and you know, I know I could offer some insight, being that like I work in this world, right? The last thing I did was, I don't know, maybe a month ago, you know, I was playing the Taliban guy. I had, you know, weapons and everything. So I had a rifle I was carrying around, and you know, usually it's two types. Like, you either have, you know, you could tell it was either a real weapon and it has the firing pin out, or they'll give you like an actual plastic rifle or a gun with no, like, it doesn't cock back and no magazine, nothing. But the other ones, yeah, you know, you could put the magazines in. It looks realistic, so, you know, I mean, those are, you know, they're trying to portray that, right? Like, as realistic as possible. So a lot of times, you know, when I've held them, even some that have the weight, you could tell some that are probably like airsoft guns or something, and then you could feel the ones that are heavier, and you're like, okay, this thing has to be real. Like, when I first started acting, you know, you feel the difference. You're like, wait a second, this one actually has some weight to it. This is, I think, a real weapon, right? You know, and they're so safe about it. Like, you know, the prop master, the person that hands it to you, they clear it. You know, a lot of times, you know, you look up the barrel as after they hand it to you to make sure it's clear. You know, they'll tell you clear, and then boom, you look at it, and then, okay, cool. In this case, I guess someone did say cold gun as they handed it to Alec Baldwin. It was the assistant director, you know, if I'm not mistaken, that handed it to him. You know, I don't know if they're trying to put the, not blame, but they already started saying like, oh, the prop master was her second movie only. So I don't know what they're trying to say. But, I mean, the fact is the assistant director gave it to him. I mean, usually, you see, when we're working, we take the proper, like, there's times where, yeah, they just hand it to you. You're supposed to check it, but people that don't have the experience, they just take the prop, you know, the prop person's word for it, right? They give it to you. You're like, all right, cool, we're ready to go. Sometimes you, like, boom, you get on set, you know, you have to go through wardrobe, so you're getting dressed, all this stuff. Like, when I did the Taliban one, right, they had to put the turban on me. I had to put the clothes, all that stuff. By the time, boom, like, sometimes if they're on a schedule, it's like, okay, let's go, boom, you go get your weapons real quick. You know, they tell you which one's yours, so after you have to return it, like, nobody, like, you know, no one's going home till, or you don't go home till you return the weapon that they let you borrow, right? So, you know, like, everyone is responsible for their weapon. You know, so sometimes you just get it and boom, you're off. So you take the word of the, actually, yeah, right? So on that one, I had a rifle that looked legit, right? Like, I couldn't tell if it just had its firing pin out or what it was, but it wasn't loaded, right? No blanks, no nothing. Usually, you know, and then I had a handgun that was plastic, one of those plastic ones, and it was in the holster, so it didn't matter. Like, you know, it's just for looks. Like, I guess with the camera, it just sees the handle. You know, they can't tell it's fake, right? So in that case, I was able to take it out, put it in the holster and out, but it was a plastic one. You know, it doesn't cock back, nothing. And then the rifle was like legit, right? So anyways, all that aside, I don't know, you know, I think I'm just trying to explain about that, right? So, but it's so careful. You know, when you see people, I think one of my first, like 5-6 years ago when I started acting, you know, one of the first jobs I had, I was a SWAT team member, and out of like 20 of us that were playing SWAT, only 2 of us had military experiences, right? Like me and this other guy. That was it. Everybody else, they kind of, I think that day they didn't have enough people, so it was like a desperate attempt to just get people. And, you know, it was, to me, it was embarrassing, right? Like, there were some guys waving around the gun, and I was just like, man, like these people must not have, they must have zero experience. And that's when, you know, you either check people. Like if people point a gun at you and you'll be like, hey, don't point that at me. I've heard other people tell people too. I've told people that too. And they'll be like, oh, why? Like, you know, if you're being too serious, but now we see why, right? So tragedies like this don't occur, right? That's the reason they don't understand that. You know, I'll go into this real quick and then I'll sum it up. Like, I'll just sum it up. Like when I was in the military, you know, even when we would train, it would have blanks and a muzzle on top that you screw on, like this red muzzle. So, you know, if you do shoot something and something flies out, it's going to explode. Like, I guess better it hurt you than someone else, right? But it has the muzzle and like the metal muzzle thing, and you're shooting blanks, right? And sometimes we train without any rounds, right? But when the times that we did work with live ammunition, like at the shooting range, right? I remember once this guy, he was actually my bunkmate, this Vietnamese guy, this little Vietnamese guy. You know, we were at the shooting range with live rounds, the instructor, and after, you know, we were trained, like it's drilled into us, like you have the barrel pointing up or down, not to the side, not this or that. So it's never, like, no one's ever in the line of fire, right? It's either up, the bullet's gonna go up, or it's gonna go down. And so, you know, I guess he swung it around after, you know, shooting at the shooting range. He swung it around and it passed the instructor, and the instructor very calmly says, like, oh, you know, okay, here, hand me, you know, your weapon. Then right after, it was like, once he handed it to him, it was like, you know, you idiot, you just made my wife a widow, right? He was like, and then he got IT'd, which is intensive training, right? Like, he got thrashed, you know, so there's like a little lake of your sweat under you, and you're like, they're just thrashing you, right? So I remember that, you know, because it's serious, because accidents like this happen, right? So just to sum it up, you know, it looks like Alec Baldwin is not, like, it's not his fault at all. I feel for him. I mean, he looks distraught in the pictures I saw. You know, he took the word, like, we're kind of they usually know what they're doing, you know. I guess even this you know, woman, like, I guess her father had been a prom master, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that's what I read. The father was a prom master, so she's been around guns, or just I think he was a gunsmith or something like that. So she had been around guns and weapons her whole life. You know, I think it did say that her father was an armorer for movies, and then that's what they're called, too, armorers, prop masters. And so yeah, she had the experience, but she had actually only worked on one previous movie, and I guess this was the second one. And you know, I don't know, like, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, it makes me cautious now too, because, you know, like I said, I've worked probably 1/4 of the jobs I've worked at, I had weapons, right? Whether gangbanger, cartel, police, SWAT team, you know, all that stuff. You know, I've had weapons, and just seeing that something like this could happen is pretty crazy. So, you know, it's a tragedy, right? That they said it's only, from what they say, right? It happened with Brandon Lee, and then there was an actor in 1984, that I guess put the gun to his head and pulled the trigger, and I guess, I don't know if it was just from the blank, the explosion killed him. You know, I don't know if I mentioned, like in Westworld, I put a gun to my head, and I don't remember if we pulled the trigger. So, I mean, you know, I guess we must have cleared it. Either I think we did pull the trigger, because I remember on Westworld, there's like a close-up of, you know, me putting the gun to my head, and I think we all pulled the trigger, but I don't remember if we really did, because, you know, I'm sure we checked it, because, right, even if that was a blank, well, no, you're not going to put a blank in then, because it's still going to shoot the spark, right? So, I don't know, it's such a careful environment that I'm just blown away. So my heart goes out to the family. You know, she was a wife, a mother. Wanted to add this real quick. So apparently, I guess it came out as well that there was a few crew members that had already quit before the tragic incident that happened, because there had already been 2 accidental gun discharges. So twice already the guns had gone off, which already could have hurt or killed somebody, and there were other safety health issues, I think, related to the whole like COVID safety things. So a few crew members had already quit. You know, and it happens. You know, I think I mentioned it in my hire me, I die professionally video, which I had made. I'll put the little thing at the end of the video if you want to watch about that. But you know, in that case, there were safety concerns, and I had to stop like everything, and they kind of bargained with me to keep working because yeah, there was unsafe conditions. So it happens. And you know, we have our union reps too, we could call. Like, you know, for me, we have SAG-AFTRA for the actors, and then, you know, the crew members have, some of them are Teamsters, some of them, I don't know what the other, I just read it recently because there were, you know, they were negotiating for something. So there was a possibility of a strike, right? And so we would have to stand with them. But I think, you know, so far so good, everything looks good. Like there was already an agreement reached, right? But not to sidetrack. So anyways, we're supposed to be able to call the union reps and all that if things are unsafe. A lot of people don't because they're afraid of, you know, it's as big of a world as it is, the whole acting world. It's really not. Like, you always run into people, you know. So people are afraid to not be able to work again, or you know, that kind of stuff, right? Like revenge from whoever you upset, right? But you know, to me, like, you know, I guess since I already came from the union world, like, you know, I worked at UPS before, so like I have no problem like using a union rep if I need to and all that stuff, or speaking up, right? But anyways, all that aside, I guess they had already quit. It's not looking good for this production now. You know, I'm sure if a lawsuit comes about, which, you know, rightfully so. I mean, if that's the course of action they choose to take, you know, I'm sure all that will come out, right? That people had already quit because things were being unsafe. So now it shows like some kind of irresponsibility on the side of the production. You know, that's a big thing, that people actually quit over safety issues not being addressed. So I just wanted to throw that in there. You know, heart goes out to the family once again. You know, a mother, wife, as far as everything else, right? Like, you know, it's just a very huge tragedy. Obviously, my ears went up when I heard about this because, you know, it's only happened. Yeah, I think that's about it. I've already talked enough about this. It's all over. You know, I saw a lot of people making videos about it. I just wanted to offer some of my insights since, you know, I work in this industry. So, you know, all right. Thanks for watching. Peace. So I already updated this twice since I was going to upload it. New developments keep coming in. So apparently, I guess, I don't know if it was TMZ or which source, and they had sources, but I guess the crew, you know, allegedly would use this gun off-site for fun. So I'm guessing target practice. You know, I know, you know, there's downtime, and I guess maybe over there where they're filming, there was nothing to do, and they would take, which is the most irresponsible thing I've heard. You know, they also said that when the sheriff came, I guess live rounds were stored next to the blanks or mixed. I don't know. It just says stored where the live rounds were. So it doesn't necessarily say if they were mixed together or literally kept like side by side, which is another irresponsible thing. So it just sounds pretty horrible, especially for me. I work in that industry. I'm like mind blown. Very upsetting to hear that someone was that careless, especially that to hear that crew members would take it and play with the gun, right? Like, well, not play, but still, you wouldn't think that something that they use as a prop, you know, it would be used. I don't know if this is something that is a normal behavior, if this always goes on, you know, especially when they're shooting someplace remote. It looks like a desert kind of area. You know, maybe they would go shoot, you know, target practice or whatever on their downtime. Still no excuse. And I guess either a live round was left in it, or, you know, like they said, the live rounds were kept next to the blank. So if that caused the mix-up, yeah, but that's just, you know, just hearing that is like, now it's almost like, even though it was still an accident. It sounds like someone's gonna have to be held responsible, at least as far as, if not prosecuted, at least probably not working, in the industry again. I would think, like, at least that, like, someone's life was cut short because someone was careless in the way they handled these weapons, right? So yeah, that's just tragic. So okay, there, I'll upload it now. I'm sure more updates are gonna come in, but I think this is the last update. I was already gonna upload this video twice, so I'll leave it at that. All right, thanks for watching. Peace.
Rust, starring and produced by Baldwin, hinges on the accidental killing of a rancher in 1880s Kansas.